Hello, welcome to Mike on a Stool. I am Aiden, he is Aiden, and
I am
Gabe.
Aiden.
Today we are doing 3x3 anime thingies. These are still kind of a thing, where you just pick 9 anime that you think encapsulates your taste in the anime, and then you put them on a 3x3 chart.
In no particular order.
Indeed. Side is the me.
This is Aiden.
No.
This is me. This is where Aiden is right now is where I am.
Yes.
This is me right over here. This is Aiden's stuff right over here.
Indeed. We probably should have put a title on it, but okay. I think my face will be enough to tell people that this one is mine.
Yeah. Starting in the top left, we have Aster Lost in Space. Wait, fuck, hold on. I need to.
Oh yeah, we could just put that on in editing.
So yeah, starting in the top left, we have Aster Lost in Space. It's a anime.
What? This is a cartoon list.
My bad. I mean, you know what old people say, basically a cartoon. An action adventure following a group of high school students that go on a school trip through space. It's
They got stuck. They go to a trip to one planet, right?
yeah,
At the
and then
beginning.
stuff starts going wrong, and they get teleported to the middle of space, and they have to take an abandoned ship back home.
Yeah.
And there is an imposter among them.
Sus.
No, while watching.
Now that I think about it, this is actually just Among Us.
No, I was literally about to say that.
I watched this before Among Us, but it's Among Us.
So did I. I watched this also before Among Us.
I mean, wait, didn't Among Us come out in 2017?
Before it was popular though.
Yeah,
Yeah, before we knew about Among Us.
Among Us.
Not even kidding. This anime is literally just hot Among Us. It's really good though. And I like it.
What?
Yeah.
I can't believe you would say that.
I know. I'm sorry. It's one of the first non-traditional shonen animes that I watch.
Uh-huh.
And I really like it. So it goes up on the list.
Whoa.
The second one is Attack on Titan. And I think this one kind of speaks for itself for the most part. But Attack on Titan is a show.
I believe it is shonen, yes.
Yeah, okay.
It kind of borders the line of shonen and seinen, but I think it is classified as a shonen.
But it is also an action adventure following a young boy on his adventure to avenge his family and kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Its storytelling's really good. This is one of the first animes to lock me in as hard as it did. I watched the first 3 seasons in 3 days.
Yeah. Bro, when I watched it, because I was watching with my brother and my dad,
Mhm.
we watched 2 episodes a day for 2 months, and every day I was like, I need more.
Yeah. That's why I just gave myself as much as I could. When I finished episode 2 of season 4 had just come out. So, fairly recent actually that I started watching, and I started watching because of Aiden.
Yeah. Let's go.
He talked me into it, and he kept on being like, you should watch Attack on Titan. It's really good. And I was like, okay, I'll get to it. Actually, I was like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
But then after a while, I was just like, okay, I'll get to it. And then I got to it, and I didn't put it down.
Yeah.
It was also the first anime to make me cry.
Let's go. Crying.
Yeah. Which I think opened up an emotional barrier that I was preventing, and now I cry all the time.
Sweet. That's what Attack on Titan does to you.
So unless you want to have mental breakthroughs, don't watch Attack on Titan.
If you don't watch Attack on Titan, you'll be the same person for the rest of your life.
You will never grow as an individual.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Attack on Titan's kind of mid. Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is tells the story of a world-changing event where everyone was turned to stone, and the main character, who is featured in the middle of the picture that we presented,
He looks like an onion.
I also thought that, and that's why I was like, he's dumb. Little did I know.
He's Dr. Stone.
But he was conscious the whole time while he was in stone and counted the days, so he knew exactly what was happening in the outside world. And he emerged from the stone and is trying to rebuild society to modernism. And it's basically a fight between kids who want to take over the world and prevent modernism from happening, and Dr. Stone, who wants to make modern
science.
Yeah, and he uses science and everything that he learned because he's a boy genius.
Is he a boy? He was a rock for like 1,000,000 years.
He's not Dwayne.
I didn't say he was the Rock. I said he was a rock.
Is he Dwayne's child?
Dwayne A. Rock Johnson.
Dwayne A. Rock Johnson. But yeah, I really like the characters. I really like the story. It's a really fun watch. I watched season 2 in one sitting while I was completely zooted out of my mind at my sister's house. So that was really fun. It made the whole experience just that much more enjoyable. And
Dr. Stoned.
Yeah, but I really like Dr. Stone. It quickly shot up on one of my favorite animes. And then there's Hunter x Hunter. Really just a classic. By the way, the newer one, not the original, the remade one.
2011?
Yeah. I watched both and I like 2011 more.
Okie dokie.
Which is why I did the picture from 2011. But yeah, I mean, it's really just a classic. It follows the story of Gon trying to become a hunter like his father and find him. Because, like every anime protagonist, he is a fatherless child.
Loser.
And yeah, I mean, it's just a classic. I didn't really understand like one of the arcs until like way after like a few months happened, and like one day my brain was just like, "Oh my gosh, what? That's what? Oh my gosh!
Wait a minute."
But yeah, I mean, just solid. Most of the early stuff, in my opinion, was really boring. Like arcs like Greed Island, I thought were really cool. The Chimera Ant arc, the one right after Greed Island, was also really good. The only parts that I liked about the Battle Tower was seeing the fight with Hisoka. Other than that, like everything before the Greed Island arc was pretty boring for me.
Bruh.
But I still really enjoyed the next 3 arcs afterwards enough to put it on this list. So, yeah, I don't think you should watch this one. Onto an anime protagonist with a father, Mob Psycho.
Those don't exist. What are you talking about?
Well, fuck. But yeah, Mob Psycho 100 follows the story of a psychic boy trying to live a normal life. And not. Yeah, it's it took a few episodes for me to really get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I gave it like 4 or 5 chances. I followed the classic 3-episode rule.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure it was like episode 4 or 5 where I was like, whoa! And I just, one day my brother was like, hey, just like power through, try to make it like onto the next episode. I was like, okay, and I did, and I loved it.
It was worth it.
Yeah, it gave me like the first 3 episodes. After watching one episode, I was like, oh, I don't like. It hadn't given me a reason to care.
It's good, but why do I come back?
Yeah, like there was nothing hooking me in to the next episode. Until like again episode 4 or 5 where they introduced like another psychic.
Oh, there's stakes now.
Yeah. There's It just gave me a reason to care. I I was hooked in and interested. Um, so if you aren't interested, I would with Mob I would give a 5 episode rule. If by the end of episode 5 you aren't interested, then you probably just won't like Mob Psycho. I really like Mob Psycho. I think it is a really fun watch, but also a really interesting one. So I think that everyone should think about this one, but don't watch it. And then Jiu-Jitsu Kaizen, one of the most popular animes at the time of recording.
Indeed. And probably for the next 10 years that you're watching.
Yes. If they come out with a season 3.
I assume they will.
I hope so. The manga is continuing, but it doesn't seem like... It's been a while since the anime has come out. So, And I think that's because the manga got delayed for a few months.
That makes sense, yeah.
And then they continued, so I'm pretty sure the anime is probably not going to come out till probably either late this year or early next year.
Didn't the director change studios or something? So does Mappa do it, or is he going to do it with his new studio? Do you know? I don't really know how it works.
I don't either.
Because I'm pretty sure usually the studio keeps doing it, but if I was a fan, I haven't watched it yet. I would want the director to do it because Mappa's doing like 20 things at the same time.
Yeah.
Which means like one thing just gets put on the back burner for like 2 years.
I think the only bad part with leaving Mappa with Jujutsu Kaisen is an animation change, because I know people love the style that it's currently. Jujutsu Kaisen follows the story of a high school boy who swallowed one of the basically strongest people ever.
Same dude.
Swallowed the finger, which gave him part of the power of him, and he's learning to use it and control it, and joins the Jujutsu sorcery school and is fighting curses.
Whoa.
It's like a quick, terribly put summary. I think throughout the entire time of Jujutsu Kaisen, I was hooked in. I loved like every part of it, especially like the end of season 2. That was the most fun. Seeing the characters work with each other and like fight with each other, and seeing them like work as a team and seeing that kind of like development between them all was my favorite part.
Power of friendship.
Let's go
Panda.
Panda. My favorite character is a panda. And then starting in the third row, My Hero Academia. It is also one of the more popular animes at this time. It's a classic story of a world with superpowers and following a superpowered school going through their struggles of a societal collapse.
Hooray!
I mean, it's fairly easy to follow. They don't do anything really like groundbreaking, but it's a really fun watch. I would say good world building, good storytelling. One of my favorite parts is even the side characters flesh out and develop with the story instead of just kind of disappearing for like 2 seasons and coming back with like giant tits and like mega powers. I mean, I really like this. We're talking about the anime, so I won't talk too much about the manga. But yeah, the manga is doing some questionable stuff right now, so I hope the anime adapts it a little bit because to sum it up, it's just rushing.
Okay.
There's 2 really beloved characters, and they kind of disappeared for a while because they weren't relevant to this arc, and then all of a sudden they come back and they explain their entire arc in 2 panels.
Ooh.
And a flashback.
Yeah, that is a little questionable.
And these are like 2 of the most beloved characters in My Hero Academia.
Interesting.
And so I really hope that in the anime they flush that out a little bit.
They'll just not even mention it.
Dude, if they...
just skip that page.
If they make it worse. If they just...
Honestly, that would be more entertaining.
that would be funnier, but I would be mad. But they're kind of just doing that with everything. Like something happens and you're like, whoa, wait, what? But yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty solid all the way through. Obviously there's lows and highs. Season 2 being one of the highs.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And season 4, I would say, being the closest thing to season 2. My Hero Academia is really just genuine fun watch, easy to follow along, and easy to pick up and put down. So if you don't have a lot of time, it's kind of a nice one to go with.
And if you're not like that into anime, you'll probably still enjoy this.
Yeah.
Like my friend Kevin watched it, and he doesn't watch anime, and he was like, "Wow, this is poggers," and then he forgot it.
Because he's Kevin.
Indeed. How good do you think the seasons we have are as adaptations?
As adaptations?
Yeah.
I didn't start reading the manga until My Villain Academia.
Did you just skip ahead until after the anime?
Well, because I started reading the manga partway during, season 4 was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So I started reading, like, right ahead of where we were, which was My Villain Academia. And then I'm all caught up now. I think that they adapted My Villain Academia as well as they could with the episodes they had.
Okay.
If they gave it a few more episodes, they could have given a little more information that they did in the manga and flushed some stuff out. Because there were a couple villains that weren't touched on that were in the manga. And they're not like super important, but they definitely, I think the ones that they touched on were probably the best ones. So
All right.
I think they probably did it as good as they could have. And then probably the best one on this list, Spy X Family. It is
It's a comedy anime.
That follows the story of a spy who needs to build a family for his mission, and it is genuinely one of the best things that I have ever watched.
There's only 2 episodes out right now. Episode 2 came out yesterday.
I can't stop thinking about it. It is all over, like my TikTok, my Instagram, my Twitter, stuff like that. I see art of it. I see just like funny videos of it. I see people talking about it. It's just so good. There's nothing bad I can say. Like there's no, like I can go through each of these animes and like talk about like one tiny little criticism I have with like each of these,
like nitpicks and stuff.
Yeah, but there is literally nothing about. Well, actually, you know what? There is one thing. I don't have all of it right now. I need more. Serious. Like in all seriousness, there's not a single thing that I could think of that I can like nitpick about this. Like I love every aspect of this anime. It's so good. The only other anime to like either keep my interest as much as this is Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
But unlike Attack on Titan, I was literally smiling. Like the muscles in my face were starting to hurt because I was smiling the entire episode, and I was like laughing all the time, and I was just mesmerized and pulled into the story and the characters. And then there's One Punch Man, a gag anime that follows Saitama, the bald guy.
It's him, the bald man.
The bald man. It's really just a really funny, fun watch. There's really like no actual story, and there is like some character development, which is like part of the fun watch. Is you get to see this character who has hit max development, literally. And you get to see his struggle with trying to develop and everyone around him developing. So like that's like kind of like the serious aspect, but hence the name. He kills everything in one punch, and he wants to fight an enemy that he doesn't kill in one punch. And it's really goofy. It's really funny. It's one of my favorites. Just like I've rewatched it a few times. It's really just a fun one that you can just sit down and watch at really any time. And they do really goofy things, like in the manga. They showed like there was a panel, and it was like 4 really cool shots of like the villain and 3 of the heroes like looking really badass, looking really cool. And then there's Saitama taking a shit on the toilet.
That sums up everything about One Punch Man.
Basically, everyone's like struggling for their life to make do in this monster-ridden society, and Saitama's trying to swat a fly in his house.
Yeah.
And then we have honorable mentions. These are honorable mentions because these are basically the animes that got me into anime. Dragon Ball Z, or the entirety of Dragon Ball, I've watched all of, filler included, from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Super, and all the movies.
It's like at least 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, I watched it all. But yeah, so that's like the first ever anime I watched. So I guess you could, say that got me into anime. But the one that actually got me into anime is when I binge watched the entirety of Naruto, all 500 episodes in a summer.
Really impressive.
I don't know how I did it. I really do think that God blessed me.
I just think you went insane for like a month. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I probably did go insane. I know I was really depressed. Man, that's probably why I did it, because I was depressed.
Yeah, probably. That explains a lot.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say Naruto helped.
You made it worse.
That's like the one that was like, hey, anime's pretty cool. Let's look at what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched stuff like One Punch Man and My Hero Academia and Hunter x Hunter.
Nice.
Those were, I think, the first 3 I watched after Naruto.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's my list.
Is that all you wanted to say?
Yes, I am done with my list.
Okay. On to myself. Am I going to enlarge? Good. Alright, I wrote down notes. Last time we did this, I stumbled over my words a lot and didn't say what I meant to. So, I wrote down tons of notes to help me speak words. Let's get into it. First up, we got Afro Samurai. First of all, it has Samuel L. Jackson voice acting. He also produced it. He's the main character and also the not main character. But yeah, Samuel L. Jackson in it, so you have to watch it.
Nothing personal. It's just revenge.
He's bald in Star Wars. Don't know why that was important to mention. So the Afro Samurai, it's about a dude named Afro. He has an afro, and his name is Afro. And his dad dies, his head gets chopped off, I think, by a guy that has a #1 headband. And the headbands are a cool thing where you got the #1 headband, then you're like the most powerful dude in, I don't know the world, but in the country, probably the world.
The world.
Yeah. And everyone's going to try to kill you to get that #1 headband, to be powerful, all that.
Challenge me when you're ready to duel a god.
Afro got the #2, and then he has sex.
And I think only the #2 headband can challenge the #1.
Yeah. Only the #2 headband can challenge the #1, and Afro's got the #2, so he wants to go get revenge for his daddy. It's a revenge story. He's just trying to kill the dude. His friend Gino gets in the way because... Probably shouldn't say spoilers, it's kind of an important plot detail. But basically, they get in a fight because Afro does things to get the #2 headband that Gino did not agree with, and then he, gets all beat up and has a giant teddy bear head. Which is also related to another cool thing in the plot, which I can't tell you. But no, it's good. It's honestly a pretty tragic story. I can't say the ending. What's wrong with me? But yeah, it's also a cool mix of hip-hop and American stuff with Japanese samurai and all that jazz. Also, he gets his power from drinking lemonade, and I think that's important.
There's a sex scene that all dads or moms must walk in on you watching.
Yeah, when I was rewatching it, Gabe was watching it for the first time, and I was rewatching it with him. There's a 5-minute sex scene in, I think, episode 2. Probably not 5 minutes, that's just what it feels like. And my dad, his office is right behind the TV, and I'm just like, my dad's probably going to walk in right now. And then, a minute later, my dad walks out of the room, and he's like,
I don't think I should be here.
Yeah. It's also more violent than a lot of TV anime, and it has vulgar English language. It has vulgar English language, which is new. If you watch My Hero Academia, they're just like, damn, shit, bastard. And that's every anime. But in Afro Samurai, they actually use curse words.
They say, bitch and the N-word.
Yes, that happens a lot. Which is
because they're black.
Also cool. How many times do you see a black, male? A black lead in an anime?
Using racial slurs.
Yes.
That they are allowed to use.
It's a very cool change of pace that I like. I said everything that I want to say about Afro Samurai. I don't honestly think it's the best thing ever, but I do really enjoy it. I think it's really unique, and I think it's good. Did you figure that out yet? Probably not. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Afro Samurai.
I think it's good.
Yeah. Next, Attack on Titan. Some of this will be the same as Gabe's, but some of it won't be. Also, I'm looking up because we have a TV with the list on it that has the things. I really wish I wrote my bullet points in order, because these are all out of order, so that's kind of unfortunate. Let's start with the presentation. First off, the animation is godlike. With Wit Studio and when they changed the mappa, it's all really good. I think the only time where animation was a little questionable was the CG Titans in Final Season Part 1. But then in Part 2 it was great. So I don't really have any problems. That's just a little nitpick. Of course, the fight scenes are great. And then we have the music by Hiroyuki Sawano, at least for the first 3 seasons, which is, again, very unique. When does music ever stand out in anime other than the openings and endings? Which are also good, obviously. Maybe obviously, I don't know if it's obvious. But no, the music is bangers. There's like scenes that are hype, and then the music hits, and then that's a good explanation, I think. I will say, don't watch the English dub. It's not good. I was watching with my brother and my father, and my dad wanted to watch the English dub, and then we watched it for like half a season, and we were like, this is really bad, so let's go to Japanese. And the Japanese voice actors do a great job, so good for them. The first season is good. It's more basic shonen than the following seasons, and then in season 2, they just go straight into politics, but it's super interesting. Why? How did they do that? I don't know. They just stand and talk, and I'm just like, interesting. One thing I really like, the plot twists are crazy, and they make sense at the same time. Each plot twist reveals like more about the world and the story. Like, think about, this is a very minor spoiler that probably won't matter. Like when Eren first gets turns into a Titan, like that's normal to us now. But when that happened the first time, it was like, whoa, that opens? That opens up a lot of possibilities for, can other people turn into Titans?
If so, who's a Titan?
Yeah. And that's like the most basic first twist.
It only gets better from there.
Yeah. Of course, great world building. I don't really know how to elaborate on that, so I won't. Characters are great, even... I tried to type Eren, but it autocorrected to even. Eren is a really, really interesting protagonist. Season 4 was a huge change in tone. The first few episodes were like, what am I even watching right now? Not in a bad way, it's just like kind of whiplash from what you were expecting. But I think it goes in a super interesting direction. I understand that some people it's not going to click with them, but they suck, and I hate them, and I'm going to kill them.
Season 4 is like a really sexy kick in the balls.
Exactly. That's a great description. Final season just final season generally, I guess. It recontextualizes kind of the prior 3 seasons in a way where, like, at the end of season 3, you were like, yes, this is, like, finality, this is great closure. And then season 4 happens, and you're like, everything I was rooting for is wrong. Yeah, my last bullet point was my only real problem, like, big problem, is that the way that MAPPA is rolling out the final season. Just call it season 4, 5, and 6. Why is it final season part 1, 2, and 3?
Or
I just want it to be the final season.
See, I think season 4, 5 final season would have worked.
Yeah, just have the final season actually be the final season. Come on, like I was willing to do the part 1 and 2 because they do that a lot in anime. Although even then, like they usually have one arc for 12 episodes and then another. Attack on Titan, they just like were like, there's nowhere to cut this off. Let's just do a giant cliffhanger in the middle of an arc. Which was a terrible idea.
They were basically like, one arc, let's start another arc, cut you off halfway.
Yeah.
Start it again, and then start another arc, and then cut you off halfway through that arc.
Then at the beginning of the next season, you're like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not going to matter in the future when all the seasons are out, but...
As a live audience
right now, it sucks balls. I wish MAPPA did not do this, but they did. And we have to deal with it. Okay. So, yeah, that was Attack on Titan. Next is Guran Lagan. It's a mecha anime. Basically, there's dudes underground, Simon, and that guy's name, who I forgot. It's like Kamino Kamina or something. Kamino from Star Wars.
They named the Star Wars planet after him.
They live underground, and they got drills. But then they drill upwards, and they're like, what? There's the surface? Also, my dad died.
Classic anime.
Then it turns out there's like mechas in the surface that you can use the drills with, and it's cool. It's basically everything you want in a mecha anime. It's like a celebration of the genre. everything it tries, basically, it does really well. I need to read more of my notes. The comedy is funny when it needs to be comedic. The action is super hype. And the emotional moments hit really hard. They have no reason to do that, but they do. The themes of the story specifically, I think it's just a simple believe in yourself theme, but it's like they do it so well that at the end, you're like, I do need to believe in myself. It really resonates. It really hits hard, more so than a lot of other things that I have watched. Like, the Sonic movie we watched today was about friendship, and I did not care about friendship at the end. That sounds horrible.
I see where you stand with me now.
But, of course, it has other, just high-quality anime things. Like, the animation's really good. It helps out the exciting moments. It is over the top and kind of ridiculous at moments, but that's just part of the fun. And, sometimes it doesn't even matter if the plot doesn't make sense, because it's hype and it's awesome. Next anime. When are we doing this with hentai? Right now. Okay. Change of plans, guys.
All right, doing a quick 180.
Scrap this entire idea. Okay. Next up is Konosuba. I think the subtitle, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World or something. I don't know. It's a long title because it's a light novel adaptation. Basically, it's a parody of an isekai. And if you don't know what an isekai is, basically, normal dude, usually like a loser and a gamer. Those are the same. Just...
Hey, I'm a winner.
So I'm not talking about you.
But I'm a gamer.
What have I been doing with my life?
Losing.
Everything I've known is
Gaming.
wrong. And losing in gaming. No, okay. But, normal dude gets murdered. Usually he, gets hit by a truck. And then he goes into a fantasy world that's like a game or something. Like Sword Art Online. And then it's just like a power fantasy where the dude is OP and kills everybody. Konosuba, our main dude Kazuma right here on the left. I was right the first time.
Yes, you were. You just started going.
I was trying to get closer, but I just went to the wrong side. He's also a loser, and
the fuck is hard.
he gets his favorite game from a store, but then he sees a girl crossing the street, and it looks like she's about to get hit by a truck. So he pushes her out of the way, and then he dies. And then he goes
by pushing the girl, not by the truck.
And because he got hit by the truck apparently, and then he goes to the afterlife where there's a goddess there named Aqua, and she's like, bro, she's like laughing at him because it turns out that's not what happened. He pushed the girl out of the way, and it wasn't even a truck. She would have been fine. It was a tractor going really slow. Then you may be asking, how did he die? It's because he had a heart attack and peed himself, and then his parents laughed at him while he was dead. So,
dude, if I died, just generally at all, if I died and my parents laugh at me, I'm coming back and I'm cursing them.
I'm making ghosts real. So basically, that triumphant moment was actually really pathetic, and he died for no reason. So that's the kind of show this is. It's a great comedy. Then he's given the opportunity to take one thing with him to the next life, which is the fantasy world generically. And he just is like, I'm going to go with the Aqua, the goddess. And it's that kind of show, it's really funny. It's got kind of a juvenile sense of humor, and there's lots of boobs everywhere. So it won't be for everybody, but if it's for you, you'll know it, and you'll probably love it.
If you're a straight male, you'll like this one.
Yes. I probably will not show this to my mom. Kazuma is a terrible person, and that's why he's funny, the protagonist. He gets party members that you see over here that seem really good on surface level, to help him do quests and stuff, because it's like an RPG or whatever. It's like an MMO. But they're all basically useless. He has a goddess on his team, and she can only do party tricks. then we have Megumin, who is a mage. She's like a super high class mage, and she knows the highest, like most powerful spell, and that's the only spell she knows. She knows no other magic, and she can only use it once in a day, and then she's useless for the rest of the day. And then we have Darkness, who is an advanced knight, which sounds really good, but she put everything into endurance and stamina because she's a masochist and she likes getting hit. So that's that's Konosuba. It's funny. I think the group's chemistry honestly is what keeps me watching. It's like hanging out with your friends who are all really immature. And
Which we all are.
yes. So yeah, it's good. I think you will like it if you have no self-worth. That's a Konosuba. Next up, we have the irresponsible Captain Tyler. This is not actually how it looks in the show, because this is a picture of the OVA, which is from the 2000s and has digital animation, whereas the original is from the 90s and has traditional animation. Anyways, you can find this on YouTube, at least if you're living in the United States of America or in North America. It's free by the company who released it in the West, so that's pretty nice. You don't have to subscribe to anybody, and I would specifically recommend you watch the dub. It's a comedy, by the way, but the dub is really good. If you watched the Pokemon dub, the original Pokemon anime, you will recognize a lot of voice actors probably. Original Ash Ketchum is here. Original Jesse is here. Original Meowth is here.
It's the whole Ape Escape crew.
Yeah. And Tyler's voice actor, the main character, Captain Tyler, I was looking at it earlier. He voices Itachi Uchiha Naruto in the English dub.
Very impressive, Captain Tyler. You really deserve that special medal we gave you. Isn't that right, Admiral Mifune?
Huh? I must have lost it somewhere.
I'm going to kill myself!
Admiral Mifune!
Sir, calm down, sir! Let me go! Let me go!
Don't do this over just one medal.
Shut up! I'm killing myself!
Then can I help?
What did you...
So it's a comedy anime. Basically, the main guy, Tyler, he's like, I want to live an easy life, so I'm going to join the military. Because you get lots of free stuff, and it's nice. It's got really likable characters. Tyler is a super carefree, goofy, and horny idiot, and that just happens to luck into everything. Like, just win a war on accident, why not? He becomes captain of a ship on accident. I don't remember how, so that's the explanation I'm giving you. The other characters bounce off him really well, especially, like, everyone's trying to tell him to, like, be responsible, and he's just like, no, everything's gonna work out, and they're like, boy, and then it does. So it's like, he's not irresponsible on purpose, he's irresponsible by nature. So it's really funny. It's just, they took a good premise and they ran with it. Again, the dub is especially funny. I have soft spots for like 90s dubs, but this one's just like a legitimately good dub.
It amazes me how well you can do your work, Doctor, when you're drinking like that.
Ah, heck, this is nothing. I've been doing it like this for 30 years, after all.
Oh, really? 30 years? You must have saved the lives of many soldiers by now.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm only 33 years old. I was talking about my drinking habit.
That's what I have to say about the irresponsible Captain Tyler. I recommend it to you. Specifically, watching this right now.
No, not you. The person behind you.
Person behind the camera.
No, the person behind you. The viewer.
Your mom.
Turn around, quick! Someone's behind.
Next up is Berserk. Speaking of the Pokemon voice actors, some of them are in this as well. But I'll get to that later. Amazing story and characters in Berserk. It's the 1997 version specifically. But seriously about the characters, there's like a billion layers to all the characters, even like, specifically the main three characters, Guts, Griffith, and Casca, but also like the side characters. Like there's a guy named Corcus who's just a dick to Guts for no reason, and and we see why he's like that. But he's just like you love to hate him, but if he died, then it would still feel like a really substantial loss. I'd also like to add, this is an anime that will traumatize you for life. Never in my life have I felt so hopeless in the last 2 episodes of an anime, or in any other context. Not as in it's a really bad, but as in like this is really good. Also, my soul is gone.
That's what happened.
And Berserk, specifically the manga, but also the anime, has like a billion content warnings, so don't just jump in willy-nilly. There's lots of horrible things that happen. They're disturbing, as they should be. They're not for shock value or anything. The bad things that happen shape the characters, which is part of what makes them so compelling. But yeah, that's kind of a disclaimer. It's not always serious and like terrifying and horrible. It's also really funny when it needs to be, which is nice because it is funny. And finally, this anime also has great music by Susumu Hirasawa, I think his name is. I wrote it down. Yes, who is next to the Attack on Titan composer, my favorite anime composer. I've seen a bunch of stuff that he's composed, and it sounds like nothing else. You're probably listening to it right now, but it sounds like nothing else you'll ever hear in anime.
You're going to be all right. You just stumbled over a stone in the road. It means nothing. Your goal lies far beyond this, doesn't it? I'm sure you'll overcome this. You'll walk again. Soon.
Next up, completely other side of the spectrum of autism. That's not what I meant to say. On the other side of the spectrum of anime,
The way you just said that.
is Orotexi, or my teen romantic comedy Snafu. This is the second anime I watched. Unlike a lot of people, I didn't start watching action shonen. I started by watching romantic comedies. So that's because I was lonely and I just went through puberty. I cannot recap this off the top of my head, so I'm just going to read straight off my notes. The protagonist, Hachiman, Hikagaya Hachiman, at the beginning he's pretty antisocial. He's set in his ways. He just thinks that humanity was a terrible idea. And then a hot teacher is like, bro, you gotta go into this club and you have no choice. And he's like, okay, fine. And there's a girl there. And he's like, what? Woman? But the girl also doesn't talk, so they just kind of sit there and do nothing. Yeah, then another girl joins, this one, who is way better than the other one by, like, a lot. The other one sucks. Sorry, that's a hot take. Anyways, it's a romance, but I think it's really about the main character's development and his growth as a person. And then the romance is just kind of a side to it. The first season is more comedy-centric. It has comedy in the title.
危うく見てくれに騙されて血迷うところだった。永眠させてやりたい、この女。
And then the second and third seasons are a lot more drama-focused, which is kind of a weird shift. It's still comedic, but it's different, and the art style changes. I do have a lot of problems, especially with the third season. A lot of drama just comes up that is just there to have drama, and not because it makes sense, and is dumb. But otherwise, I think it's still a really good show. I've rewatched it in 2019, I think, before the third season came out. And yeah, I don't know who to recommend this to, but if you want to watch it, you should do it. Also, it has hot girls. Now I think a lot more people will be convinced.
I agree.
Yeah. Next up is Ortexi. it has the animal people, anthropomorphic animals, not a furry anime. I hate that I have to clarify that. But it's just like regular show. It has characters that are animals, and that's not a big deal. Shut up.
Calm down. Your tits are going wild.
I know.
I'm looking at them right now.
I only bring that up because my first bullet point is the character designs are really good, and they're really memorable. You'll remember you'll remember all of these character designs after like 5 months after you watch the show, and you're not gonna see these designs in any other anime. Like, you see this guy right here. Everybody looks like this man, but this guy, he's a walrus. How many walrus do you see in anime? Only one, this guy.
He's the only walrus to ever make an appearance in anime.
I bet that's factually correct. The way I described this last time we recorded, it's like if Quentin Tarantino wrote a mystery anime, and basically what that means is that the dialogue is really good. A lot is told through dialogue. I wrote, it's a great mystery where nothing is like spelled out for you. Even when you're given answers, it feels like there's more to uncover and you have to keep watching. For example, there's like, this isn't a mystery part, but like, in any show or anime, if you've got two characters that are friends, their first scene is like, we've been friends for 10 years. Yes, we have. You're my friend.
Yeah.
But then in Odd Taxi, like, to show as an example of how good the dialogue is, it's like, the main character and his doctor are good friends, and they show that by having them have a conversation about how fun it is to say Bruce Springsteen in Japanese. They're like, Bruce Springsteen. Oh. It's like, oh, I can tell these guys are good friends, and they didn't even need to tell me that.
俺別撮りだからブルース・スプリングスティーンの方が先
お前ブルース・スプリングスティーンの五感に酔ってるよな
言いたいだろブルース・スプリングスティーン
じゃあ3回言ってみるブルース・スプリングスティーン
ブルース・スプリングスティーンブルース・スプリングスティーン
言えてねえから
So yeah, it's really good. The mystery is super compelling. It instantly hooks you after the first episode, and if it doesn't, you'll probably keep watching, and then you'll get hooked by the second episode, and then you'll get hooked by the third episode. And this is not the only show. This is the only show I've watched in one day that wasn't for a YouTube video. I watched Domestic Girlfriend in one sitting for YouTube, and then I decided that video was a bad idea. But I actually watched this in a few different sittings in one day, and I can rarely ever do that. I can barely watch like 3 or 4 episodes at once. So no, it's really good. I think you should watch it. And it came out last year. I don't know why that was important, but it did. Next, also the OP is a banger. My mom has it on her playlist. Next up is my last one. I'm getting really tired. It's really hot up here. Next up is Amaki Brilliant Park. The first thing you need to know, the main character, his name is Kanye, named after Kanye West. We also have Sento, the hot girl, named after 50 Cent. And on the left is Latifah, who is named after Queen Latifah. And that kind of tells you everything you need to know. The basic plot, Kanye, he's basically forced at gunpoint to run this amusement park, and he's to get it to be somewhat popular so that it doesn't get like demolished or abandoned. And that's important because you see all these mascots in the background. These are actually like fantastical, not demons, that is the wrong word, creatures, like fantastical creatures that just are in this world for some reason, and I don't remember why. But if it gets demolished, then they have nowhere to live, and that would be sad because they're cute monster people. It's basically just a super fun, feel-good show. It's a comedy slice of life, I think. And yeah, the comedy's funny. The animation is surprisingly good for a comedy show, but it's Kyoto Animation, and they're always great. So that's good. Again, there is Hot Girl. I must emphasize that. There is Hot Girl. And that is basically all you need to know. It has Hot Girl. It's funny, and it makes me smile whenever I watch it, which was only once. But I was watching it, I was smiling every episode. And that should tell you something, because I have no emotions.
He doesn't. I live with him.
Thank you for confirmation.
Of course.
The next one is covered up by my big pillow, but that's okay. It's Cowboy Bebop. It's an honorable mention. It's basically it's just Cowboy Bebop. It's good. Ooh. Characters are good. The plot is good. Every episode is fun except for the one where there's like refrigerator or something. That one was kind of dumb. But otherwise, it's really funny, which I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. The cast is really likable, except for Ed, who's kind of annoying a lot of the time. It has a corgi in it, so that instantly makes it the best anime of all time. There is, again, Hot Girl, who is hot, and Spike, who is cool and also hot, and the dub is really good. I think this dub is legitimately better than the Japanese version. You probably know about it already, so I'm just going to tell you to watch it, and you're going to have your own opinions. I think there's some shows that I also should have put here, so I'll just talk about them now. I think Violet Evergarden is an honorable mention. It gets into your emotions a lot. I do have, like, massive problems with it, though. Specifically, episode 5, if you know what I mean, you'll probably understand. And the movie, which basically just goes back on the entire point of the show. So that's why it's not... It probably would have been in my 3x3, if not for those. There's also the Pet Girl of Sakuraso, which is the first anime I ever watched. It was the first time I figured out that women exist, and I was like, boops. I also kind of had problems with that. I read up on what happened to the light novel afterwards, and I was like, wow, this is really bad. And they just... I also saw a lot of people being like... I saw a lot of people saying, like, they somehow made a really good anime out of a really bad light novel. Even though I see it has an 8 out of 10 on my anime list now, the light novel, so maybe I was just looking at the wrong people. But yeah, there's also things like the main girl is a kudere, which is a trope I really despise. They're just the girls that have no personality and are just dumb and don't know anything about the world, and you're supposed to think they're cute because of that, but they're not. They're just dumb and they have no personality. So why do I care about them? I don't. But besides that, it's pretty epic. I think these are like the opinions of a 13-year-old. So they might all be wrong. But that's my 3x3 honorable mentions. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you don't watch any of the things we talked about today.
I hope you burn in hell.
See ya.